Good morning. I'm Jie Luo from Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam. Today, I'm going to present our recent research, a comparative study of brain reproduction methods for morphologically evolving robots. Co-authors are Carlo and Gusz. At the end of the presentation, we will answer all your questions together. Okay, first of all, some background. Two main theories were used in our research. The first one is Lamarckism versus Darwinism. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Darwinism, but what about Lamarckism? How many of you are familiar with Lamarckism? Oh, quite a lot. Great. Here's a short video to explain it.
In Lamarck's theory, early giraffes probably had short necks that they stretched to reach food. Their offspring had longer necks that were inherited from their parents directly. Eventually, the continuous stretching of the neck resulted in today's giraffe. While in Darwin's theory, early giraffes probably had necks of various lengths. Short-necked giraffes' food source became depleted. Natural selection due to competition for food has led to the survival of longer-necked giraffes, whereas the short-necked giraffes died along with their short-neck gene. Eventually, only long-necked gene giraffes survived the competition.
Great. The second theory used in the paper is asexual reproduction versus sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction means the genotype of the offspring is created via the mutation only one parent's genotype. And sexual reproduction means the genotype of the offspring is created through the crossover and mutation of two parents' genotypes. In evolutionary robotics, simultaneously developing controllers and morphologies is a difficult task. Several researchers have combined evolution with learning to drive this joint evolution even deeper. However, the design choice for reproduction varies per study. So to the best of our knowledge, no studies have compared asexual reproduction against sexual reproduction in the morphologically evolving robotic systems, let alone, in the combination with Lamarckian versus Darwinian frameworks, which combine evolution with learning. So our research aims to fill this gap by answering the following three questions. First, how do asexual and sexual brain reproduction compare within Lamarckian and Darwinian frameworks in terms of task performance? Second and third, will the different brain reproduction methods lead to different robot morphologies and to different robot behaviors? To answer these research questions, we set up a general framework to optimize robots via two interacting processes. The outer evolutionary loop evolves robot bodies, morphologies, and controllers the brain simultaneously. And the inner learning loop, this optimizes the parameters of the inherited brain. This is within the evaluation step of the EA, evolutionary algorithm. In our research, we use 3D tensor and the genotype of the brain, which gets directly encoded into the phenotype of the brain, which is a CPG network. And we use CBPN as a genotype of the body, which gets indirectly encoded into the RoboGen 3D printable component. And we apply a learning algorithm called RefDE to the inherited brain. With the learned brain, this robot performs a task in a certain environment and gets evaluated by fitness function. And with the fitness value, EA performs selection and variation, and this loop just repeats until the termination condition is reached. In our scenario, it's a 30th generation. With the red lines, it shows Lamarckian learning mechanism, which allows the learned brain features to be coded back to the genotype and pass it on to the next offspring. Without the red lines, it's the Darwinian learning mechanism. Okay, here is a pseudocode of the complete integrated process of learning plus evolution. Yeah, we have two loops again. So the outer evolutionary loop and the inner learning loop. With the highlighted blue code, it shows the brain sexual reproduction. Without it, it's the brain asexual reproduction. With the highlighted yellow code, it shows the Lamarckian learning mechanism. Without it, it's a Darwinian learning mechanism. With regards to the experimental setup, some technical details, such as how to design the closed-loop controller to steer servo motors, or how to design the fitness function, such as to fulfill the tasks, such as point navigation and panoramic rotation tasks. Due to the time limitation, I will not cover here. If you are interested, please check out paper. They are explained in detail. So now let's look at results. First, efficiency data for the point navigation task. These two plots show the mean average fitness over generations. So the left plot is for the Lamarckian framework and the right plot is for the Darwinian framework. For both plots, the purple lines show the asexual reproduction and the blue lines show the sexual reproduction. From these two plots, we can tell that the asexual and sexual reproduction have opposite effects for the two different evolution frameworks. So in the Lamarckian framework, the asexual reproduction achieved a higher mean fitness value, while in the Darwinian framework, sexual reproduction has a higher mean fitness value. While performing the rotation task, in the Lamarckian framework, asexual reproduction still has a much better mean fitness value, while in the Darwinian framework, there's no significant difference between the two reproduction methods. So these two plots indicate that Lamarckism performs better without crossover of the learned brain genomes, while Darwinism, which does not inherit the learned brain traits, perform the same with crossover or not crossover of the brain genomes. Second is efficacy data for the point navigation task. These two plots show the fitness value at the generation 30, so the last generation. From these two plots, we can see that Lamarckian asexual method has the highest mean and max fitness value among these four combinations. While performing the rotation task, Lamarckian asexual reproduction is still the winner for the mean fitness value. However, for the max value, Darwinian sexual reproduction reached the highest fitness value, which is almost twice as good as the max from the other three combinations. So to investigate the reason, we looked into the behavior of the robots. An interesting behavior occurred in this Darwinian sexual reproduction method. Robot evolves a jumping behavior, which let the robots rotate faster. And this is validated by this vertical coordinates. So these are the trajectories of the 10 best robots performing the point navigation task from both reproduction methods. The left is within the Lamarckian framework, and the right is within the Darwinian framework. The purple squares is the starting point. The blue lines are the trajectory passes of robots produced by the asexual reproduction, ending at the blue squares. And the green lines are from the sexual reproduction, ending at the green squares. The two yellow circles are the target points which robots aim to pass through. So we can see that the trajectories from the best robots within the Lamarckian framework reach the target points much faster than the ones from using the Darwinian framework. Now let's look at morphology. These are the 5 best evolved morphologies and fitnesses. Plot A and B show the best robots for the point navigation task. The bodies are mainly converged into an cross shape, and plot C and D are for the rotation task, and the morphologies are mainly converged into an L shape, regardless of the different reproduction methods. In conclusion, with regards to the task performance comparing sexual against asexual brain reproduction, Lamarckian asexual reproduction leads to robots with higher fitness, while in the Darwinian framework, the effect is the opposite. Regarding the different robot behaviors, Lamarckian asexual reached the target points much faster. Darwinian sexual evolved a jumping behavior, which let the robots rotate faster. With regards to the robot morphologies, under the given experimental conditions, the morphology is mainly determined by the task, not the reproduction method. Thus, we can formulate a recommendation. If you are using the Lamarckian framework, it's advisable to choose the brain asexual reproduction. To end my presentation, I will show you a short video of the robot locomotion in the simulator.
Using Lamarckian evolution, these are the best robots yielded by the 2 reproduction methods for the task of point navigation. Green dots are the targets for the robots to reach. The one produced by asexual reproduction reaches its targets much faster. Using Darwinian evolution, these are the best robots produced by the 2 reproduction methods for the task of point navigation. In contrast to the Lamarckian framework, here the one produced by sexual reproduction reaches its targets faster. Now we compare the asexual robot produced by the Lamarckian plus learning framework against the sexual robot produced by the Darwinian plus learning framework. The winner is Lamarckian evolution with asexual reproduction. Using Lamarckian evolution, these are the best robots produced for the panoramic rotation task. Compared to the robots from the point navigation task, they have 1 or 2 fewer limbs, and they are mostly made of hinges, no bricks. Using Darwinian evolution, although these 2 robots are quite similar, the one from the sexual reproduction method exhibits a hopping behavior that helps it rotate faster.
Thanks for your attention.